Yeah, shalom, shalom, brothers and sisters. This is Brother Yashar from the Milk Givers of Israel and the Seed Sowers of Israel camp, coming back at you with another segment, part two of the Most High's Dietary Law. First off, I would like to give all honor, thanks, praise, and glory to our Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Kal Halal Yamlach Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Ruach HaKadosh. And as you can see, according to my screen here, just as in my previous video, these are examples of all of the animals that we're not supposed to eat on this earth, right, according to the Most High. It's an abomination unto him and unto you, right? So, of course, on your left, you have your pig, which is the swine, according to the scriptures. And then also you have your lobster, which is your shellfish, along with your shrimp, your lobster, your clams, your mussels, your scallops, all of that is shellfish, right? And then you have on the far right, according to the scriptures, which are the fowls of the air. These are the birds that's unclean that we're not supposed to eat. Just because it have wings like a chicken or whatever, doesn't mean that it's a bird that we're supposed to be eating, right? You have your eagle, your vulture, your buzzard, your kite, your falcon, your raven, your ostrich, your seagulls, right? Your owl, your hawk, your stork, your heron, your hoopoe, your jackdaw, right? And then you have your bat, right? So now, according to the news, this so-called coronavirus is spreading like wildfire now because, you have people out there eating bats, man. The Most High, according to the books of Leviticus and Deuteronomy, we're not supposed to be eating bats. That's an abomination unto the Most High and to you. You know what I'm saying? So now, that's the reason why we have to deal with this coronavirus now. It's all over China. You have thousands upon thousands of people over there sick with this virus. And then you have, I think they said over like 1,000 U.S. citizens that's stuck over there that can't come back to the U.S. because of that virus. And then you have a few cases over here too. You got some cases on the West Coast out there in California, in the Midwest, down in Texas. So it's definitely spreading. And it's a pestilence, according to the scriptures, dealt by the Most High. Because people, they don't want to respect his dietary law. They want to eat whatever they want to eat. They want to say, oh, we're under grace, we're not under law, we can eat whatever we want to eat, do whatever we want to do. So now, the Most High is punishing them for that. You're not supposed to be eating bat. Just like I said in the last video, how can someone look at a bat and want to eat that? You know what I'm saying? That's one of the most hideous flying things out there, man. They use bats for Halloween to scare people. So how in the hell do you want to eat a bat, man? Like, how can you look at that and say, oh, I'll throw some seasoning salt on there, throw it in a pot and roast it real good, and it's going to be good? Like, seriously, come on, man. So that's the reason why the Most High is dealing this virus out, this pestilence that can't be cured. There's no cure for it. There's no antidote, no vaccines for it. So if you get it, hopefully that your immune system is strong. You're going to have to deal with it. Most High is willing, if it's your will for him, for you to remain on this earth, you would overcome the virus. But if not, hey, guess what? That's judgment. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you have your bat, your carrion, your vulture, every creeping thing that flies, right? What is a creeping thing that flies? It's a bat. You know what I'm saying? So the Most High makes it perfectly clear, man, Salakia. We're not supposed to be eating these things, right? If not, then there's going to be a recompense. Just like the swine, the pig. You got some people, they can't put that swine down, man, especially our people. They got to have their BLT in the morning with the bacon all up in there. They got to have their ham sandwich, the ham and cheese sandwich, you got some parents out there giving their kids ham. They're giving them in the Lunchables. You know what I'm saying? That stuff is an abomination, man. Your pork chop sandwiches, your big Sunday hams that you like to cook. I'm pretty sure a lot of people cooked that yesterday, for Sunday, for the Super Bowl Sunday, And that stuff is an abomination, man. You're not supposed to be eating that stuff. You got your shrimp here, your shellfish. A lot of people had that yesterday probably too. You know, your shrimp fried in the butter sauce, the garlic sauce, and all that. You know, your crab sticks, crab legs. All of that stuff is an abomination, man. Yeah, as it says right here, all that do not have both fins and scales, like shellfish, lobsters, crayfish, crabs, shrimps, etc., right? And seafood, oysters, clams, etc. Your mussels too, right? Your scallops. You're not supposed to be having that stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Like the swine here, the pig, the hare, the camel, the mouse, the frog, the mole, the lizard, the tortoise, the snail, right? You're not supposed to be eating this. Okay? So, you know, my last video, I left off at the book of Leviticus. So now I'm going to start at the book of Isaiah, chapter 66. Okay? And I'm going to bring it up on my screen so we all can see it. And I'm going to start at verse 15. And it reads, For behold, the Lord Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. Right? So what that sound like? That sound like the second coming of the the Hamashiach. You know, when the Most High sends his son, Hamashiach, back here, you know, just like your ordinary religious person, you know, it's not going to be what they think. You know, they think when Yahushua come back, it's going to be all sunshine and rainbows. You know, it's going to be bright out here. He's going to come back and dish out hugs and flowers and candy and all of that. Well, right here, according to verse 15 in the book of Isaiah, chapter 66, it says, For behold, the Lord, Yahweh, will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger, right? Not his happiness, you know, not his love and care, his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire, right? So it's not going to be like how we think, man. Well, at least like how the religious person think, your average religious person. You know, what's brothers and sisters in the truth? We really into the scriptures, you know, and we expect what's really going to come, right? Verse 16, For by fire and by his sword will the Lord Yahweh plead with all flesh. That's all flesh on earth, you know. That's all of the humans, even the animals. The animals, you know, the insects, all flesh, right? And the slain, right? Not the hugs, not the kisses, not the giving of roses and cards, right? And the slain of the Lord Yahweh shall be many, right? So a lot of people going to die, man. You know, a lot of recompense is going to be dealt, you know, for people breaking his laws, you know, his dietary law, you know, all of his laws, statutes, commandments. You know, a lot of people think that we're under grace. We can live and do whatever we want to do and eat whatever we want to eat now, you know, and the Most High, he's letting you know that these laws still stand, you know, i.e. the coronavirus. You know, a lot of people dying, a lot of people sick. It's spreading like wildfire all over the place now. You know, so that's a sign right there to let you know that these laws are still here. They're here to stay, you know, including the dietary law. Right? Verse 16, For by fire and by his sword will the Lord Yahweh plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. Verse 17, They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the garden behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh, right? The pig flesh, the hog, right? Your Sunday ham, your BLT in the morning before work, right? Your bacon and egg sandwich, right? That's eating a swine's flesh. And the abomination, right? So he's letting you know that's an abomination to eat. This is in the book of Isaiah, you know, it's not in the book of Deuteronomy and in Leviticus. You know, this is right here in Isaiah, further into the Bible, right? And he's letting you know that's an abomination to eat. You can't eat the swine's flesh, right? And the mouse shall be consumed together, saith Yahweh, right? So if you're part of that group that's eating swine and mouse, then you're going to be consumed together. You're going to be destroyed. You know, you got some people out here that eat mouse too. You know, you have your, you know, not to bash one's nation, But, just like China, you know what I'm saying? They over there eating the bat. There's pictures that's circulating all around the internet. You can see that. How true it is, I'm not too sure. You have this thing out there called Photoshop. So, they can fix things up to make it look like it's real, right? But, the pictures is all over the internet. Not only if they eating bat over there, they eating mouse. They have their mouse farms over there. They raise the mouse supposedly in a clean way. And then when it's big enough, they wound up eating it. You know what I'm saying? Just like over here, how we would raise chickens and other animals that we can eat, like the cow, you know, they eat the mouse over there just like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's an abomination to the Most High. We're not supposed to be doing that, man. Right? So if you're part of that group that's eating swine's flesh and the abomination, and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith Yahweh. Right? Verse 18. For I know their works and their thoughts. It shall come that I will gather all nations and tongues, that means all people of the world, everyone who speaks certain languages, Spanish, English, French, whatever, you know what I mean? All tongues, and they shall come and see my glory, right? So the Most High is letting you know, when he sends his son, Hamashiach back, you're going to see his glory, and then you're going to see his truth, and then you're going to see his judgments too, because he's coming back to do his father's will, not his own will, or the will how most religious folks think, he's going to come back and dish out hugs and love and care and cards and roses and all that stuff and say, hey, let's just be one big happy family, right? I ain't going to be like that, especially according to verse 16 and 17 here, as you can see, right? I'm going to jump down to verse 24. And they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of all the men that have transgressed against me. Right? So that's Yahweh. He's saying the people that's going to be redeemed by his son, Hamashiach, they're going to look back on all of the people of the world that transgressed against his law. Right? Transgression, sin is the transgression of God's laws, right? According to the scripture. Right? So he's letting you know. So I'm going to start over. And they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of all men that have transgressed against me. For their worms shall not die, neither their neither shall their fire be quenched. What is that fire? That's the hellfire. That's going to be a fire that's not going to be quenched. It's not going to be extinguished. That's going to be a everlasting fire. That's that lake of fire that he's talking about here, right? And they shall be an abhorring to all flesh. Right? So the ones that's going to be redeemed by Hamashiach, they're going to look at all of the people that's going to be burning in that lake of fire, and it's going to be abhorring to them. It's going to be a horrible sight. Right? As a matter of fact, let me get the meaning of abhorring. So you can have the clear cut understanding of this, right? Let's get that real quick. All right, here you go. To abhor, right? I'm going to let you hear it.
Abhor.
All right, so here we go. It's a verb. And it says regard with disgust or in hatred. Right? So that's how the redeemed from Salakia, from Hamashiach, that's how they're going to be looking back at all people that transgressed against the Most High's laws. We're going to be looking at them at regard and with disgust and hatred. Right? So it's going to be abhorrent to us, because here we are, we're the true followers of the Most High. We're striving to keep his laws, statutes, commandments, and we're trying to entice other people to do so, to let them know, hey, these laws are still in effect to today. Just because we're under grace doesn't mean that, we can live however we want and eat however we want, right? Grace period just means to get things right. It's a certain amount of time that you have to get yourself right. You have to get your house in order, right? It's not like eternity that you can do whatever you want to do, right? So, according to this definition of abhor, that's how we're going to look back at all of the people that transgressed against the Most High's laws, right? It's going to be a very hateful thing to us to see, right? Right here it says, what does abhorred mean in the Bible? Okay. To regard with extreme repugnance, right? Or aversion, detest, utterly, loathe, abominate, right? All of those things are hateful things there. You know, that's how we're going to look back at all of the people that transgressed against the Most High's laws, right? So the reason why we bring out videos like this is to let you know, to inform you that the laws are still here. You know, we as the people, we're supposed to be keeping it. If not, then you're going to be a part of those carcasses that's going to be burning in that lake of fire, you know. Just for something as simple as eating pork or shellfish. A lot of people may think that, oh, that's you know, it's not too much of a big deal. But hey, you know, high blood pressure is a big deal. Hypertension is a big deal. You know, trichinosis, all of that stuff that you get from pork or all unclean meats, all of that stuff is a big deal. You know, you're going to be having to take 5, 6, 7 pills a day, drink all of this water, you know, just to get back normal, in which you should be anyway, right? Yeah, man. As a matter of fact, let me get the definition of repugnance. Okay. All right. Repugnance. This is how it sounds. Repugnance. There you go. Right. Intense disgust. Right. So that's one of the definitions of abhor. You know, that's how we're going to be looking back at all of the people that transgressed against the Most High's laws with intense disgust. Right. That's crazy. So, yeah, man, this stuff is serious. It's serious than you think, right? I'm going to go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 8, and I'm going to start at verse 12. All right. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 8, verse 12. And it reads, were they ashamed when they had committed abomination? Right? What's that abomination? That's the transgression of the Most High's laws, his dietary law. You know, you eating your swine, your shellfish, you know, your unclean fowls of the air, your unclean birds, your ducks, your goose eggs. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to eat that stuff. All of that stuff is, all of those web-footed bugs, Slovakia birds, they're all unclean, man. You know, you got some people that eat roast duck, roast geese. They eat the geese eggs, the ostrich eggs, the ostrich itself. You know, all of that stuff is unclean. We're not supposed to be eating that stuff. It's an abomination, right? Starting over. Were they ashamed, Slovakia, when they had committed abomination? Nay, which is no. They were not at all ashamed, neither could they blush. Right? So, you know, a lot of these people, they weren't ashamed at all. Like today, our people, they not ashamed. You know, you try to tell them that you're not supposed to eat pork and shellfish. You know, they eat that stuff for pride. You know, just as I was mentioning in my previous video, they eat it so much with so much pride. You see them, they post it on their social media. You know, you go up and down your social media, that's all you see. Seafood platters, the land and sea seafood platters, you know, with your beef and your shrimp together, mixing the clean with the unclean. You know, you have your pork chop sandwiches and all that, your baby back ribs, you know, from pork. You know, they have no shame. Right, as it says here, you know, were they ashamed when they had committed abomination? Nay, which is no. They were not at all ashamed, neither could they blush. Therefore shall they fall. Right? Not therefore shall they have salvation and make it into heaven. It didn't say that. You know, it didn't say thou shalt for I will give them love when I return. Right? Don't say that. It says therefore shall they fall among them that fell. Slakia fall. in the time of their visitation, which is the second coming of Hamashiach, they shall be cast down, saith the Lord Yahweh. Right? So, all the transgressors of the Most High's laws, they're going to be cast down. A lot of them, they think, they doing the right thing. Or, some of our people may not know. Because a lot of our people weren't taught these laws in their life. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our people, sometimes when I tell people that, there's a dietary law according to the scriptures that we're supposed to be following. And right off the back, they would think, oh, that's a part of Islam. Or that's the Quran. That's not a part of the Quran, man. Actually, the Quran was made 600 plus years after the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So all of their dietary laws that they have in the Quran, it's from the Holy Scriptures. It's from the Bible. So that's what, and when people hear about this dietary law, they don't necessarily hear it from the Bible because no one teach the Old Testament of the Bible anymore. Everyone jumps straight to the New Testament. You know what I'm saying? Or if they go to the Old Testament, they go to the book of Psalm or Proverbs or maybe a little bit of Lamentation. You might hear a little bit of Genesis in there. You know what I'm saying? But no one goes to the laws. No one goes to the book of Deuteronomy. No one goes to the book of Leviticus, Numbers, Joshua, Amos, Judges. No one goes there. The book of Obadiah, Nehemiah, Micah, Malachi. No one goes there. Right? So that's the reason why people don't know these laws, man, and we lost in the sauce out here. We think just because we're in grace, we can do whatever we want to do and not get judged for it. And our people get judged every day. But see, the thing about it, our people don't understand the Most High's judgments. They think, oh, the person just died of natural causes or it was a coincidence. No, that's the Most High's judgments, man. And you got to read these scriptures to understand the Most High's judgments, right? That's why a lot of our people was just dropping dead, man, and no one knows why. Okay? I'm going to go to the book of Job, chapter 14. Okay? Yeah, our people, they got to get into this Bible and they got to see what's really going on, You can't take things for word of mouth anymore. That's what our people do. We go to church and we sit there and all we want to do is listen to a good sermon, a good prosperity gospel or a feel-good gospel. You know what I'm saying? Oh, come as you are. You can dress however you want. You can wear your wigs, your tight skirts, your high heel red bottom shoes, and no one is getting rebuked, reproved. No one's getting edified. So that's the reason why we don't know about the Most High. We don't know His laws. And that's why judgment is cast down daily, upon the sinners. Right? And it's an unfortunate thing, A lot of people, they claim, they go to church and, they're a follower of the Most High. They love Christ. They obey the Most High in Christ. But, I mean, you see them every day on social media. They sinning like crazy, man. They posting all of their abominations up there. All of the women, they not dressed modest no more. You know what I'm saying? They leave nothing to the imagination no more. It's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? If you want to see a little tail and chest, all you got to do is go on social media. You see all you want. On top of the abominations of the food that you see, right? It's crazy, man. All right, the book of Job, chapter 14, and I'm going to start at verse 4. Who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean thing? Not one. Right? So this is what Job said. You can't bring a clean thing out of an unclean thing. Like some people, just like I said, they mix the seafood with the clean food. They earth and sea platter. With the shrimps and the beef, the steak. You know what I'm saying? You can't mix those two together. That's an unclean and a clean thing there. You're supposed to be only eating that steak and throw that shrimp in the garbage, man. You know, but our people, they love that stuff, man. They get it fried in the butter sauce and the garlic sauce with the parsley flakes all over it with the garlic, and then they mix it right on up there beside the steak. You know what I'm saying? That stuff is an abomination to the. The Most High hates when he see you eat like that, man. That's what our people have to understand. You know, I'm going to go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 4, right? And I'm going to start at verse 13. But yeah, as it says right here in the book of Job, chapter 14, verse 4, who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean thing? Not one. Right? So you can't make what's unclean clean. You know, it's because you think we're under grace. You can't say, oh, okay, pork is clean now, we can eat it. Or catfish is clean now, we can eat it. Or mouse or bat, right? And you already see the consequences of eating bat. Now we got to deal with a virus that can't be cured now. They probably never can cure it too. Which dealt of the Most High, man. I mean, hey, that's something that we're gonna have to deal with, right? All right, I'm gonna go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 4. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to start at verse 13. And it reads, And the Lord Yahweh said, Even thus shall the children of Israel, who the children of Israel, that's the Israelites, that's the Most High's chosen people, which are still in this world today. Despite when everyone says, oh, the Israelites are they're mythical people that was in the biblical days, back in the day. There's no Israelites in the world now. Okay, well, if there's no Israelites in the world, then why are the people over there in Israel now calling themselves the children of God, the Israelites? I mean, that don't make no sense, right? So, I mean, come on now. If you're going to say that there's no such thing as the Israelites in this world today, then why are they calling themselves the children of God, right? And for the note, they don't call themselves Israelis, they're Israelites, right? Those are the real chosen people of the Most High, right? In continuation, eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them, right? So that's what we're doing now. All of the children of Israel, the Most High's chosen people, they're in the land of their captivities, and they're eating their bread defiled among the Gentiles, right? So just to make that clear distinction there, the Israelites are different than the Gentiles, the actual Gentiles. Now, according to the scriptures in the New Testament, you will have that little confusion there where they describe Israelites as Gentiles. But that doesn't mean that they're actual Gentiles, they're Gentile minded because they're around the Gentiles, right? But that doesn't mean that they're the actual Gentiles. Okay, so that's where the Most High is making this distinction here in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 4, right? I'm going to read it again. And the Lord Yahweh, even Salakia, and the Lord Yahweh said, Even thus shall the children of Israel, right? He didn't say, shall the Gentiles, right? He didn't say that. He said, shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread. Defiled, which means unclean. It's an abomination to the Most High. That's what defile means, right? Their defiled bread among the Gentiles, right? It didn't say the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the other Israelites. He made that the clear distinction there between the children of Israel and the Gentiles. Okay? Whether I will drive them, right? So that's the Most High letting you know, because the reason why we're in our captivity is because He drove us to these areas. It wasn't because of a Pacific race and their power that they think that they're gained up among themselves, you know what I'm saying? But that was because of the Most High. The Most High raised them up to a certain level of power like that. So He can put His people in captivity for breaking His laws, statutes, and commandments, right? That's the reason why it says right here, whether I will drive them, right? So the Most High is letting you know that, He's the one that sent the children of Israel into the land of their captives. All over the world, no matter if you're in Brazil, the United States, Europe, Australia, China, all over the world, South Africa, West Africa, East Africa, You know, the children of Israel are all over the world. You know, so that was a prophecy fulfilled by the Most High. Okay, verse 14. And said I, Ah, Lord God, behold, my soul have not been polluted, right? From my youth up, even till now, have I not eaten of that which dieth of itself. Just like I was explaining in my last video in the book of Deuteronomy. You know, you're not supposed to eat an animal that dies of itself, you know, even if it's a clean animal, you know, a chicken or a cow, you know, lamb or whatever. You know, if you see it laying over there somewhere dead, you know, you don't know what the animal died of. It could have been some sort of a blood disease or flesh disease. You know, you don't know what it died from. So you're not supposed to eat anything that dies of itself, right? In continuation. Or is torn in pieces. Neither came there abominable flesh into my mouth, right? Abominable flesh. So that's Ezekiel, the prophet. He's letting the Most High know, hey, in all of my life, you know, ever since I was a little youth, I never ate anything that died of itself or was torn into pieces. Neither came there any abominable flesh. What's the abominable flesh? It's like the abominable flesh is the swine. You know, you have your pig, your shellfish. You know, your unclean fowls of the air. You know, just like I showed you here. I'm gonna bring that back up. All of these are abominable flesh, just like it says at the top of the picture here. You shall not eat any abominable thing, right? And you can go to the books of Leviticus and Deuteronomy, just like I read in my last video, right? That's your pig, your shellfish right here, and your fowls of the air, right? So that's the abominable things that the prophet Ezekiel was talking about to the Most High. He's letting them know, hey, all the way from my youth up, I've never ate any of these things, right? So he's trying to prove his worthiness to the Most High by doing that. Okay, I'm going to go down to the book of 28. I mean, Salakia, the chapter 28 in the book of Ezekiel. Okay. And I'm freestyling, you know. I'm freestyling Israel. This is something that wasn't planned. You know what I'm saying? You know, I got my scriptures written down here. And I didn't make no big plan to make this video and use all of these big fancy words or speak eloquently. You know, this is all freestyle right here, Israel. You know, so if you know this truth, I mean, hey, you can do the same thing. You can make your video. You got to edify your people. You know, you got to make your call in an election sure. You know, you gotta store up your treasures in heaven, as Yahweh said in the book of Matthew. You know, so just like I'm doing these videos, you can do the same thing too. You know, what's wrong with edifying your people? You know, letting them know to stay on the straight and narrow, eat clean. You know, stay away from the pork, stay away from the shellfish. You know, don't be a sinner in the eyes of the Most High. You know, keep the Sabbath. You know, tell your women to dress modestly. You know, they ain't got to be out here walking around with tight skirts and tight pants. You know, with the ass showing all the time. You know what I'm saying? With the breasts all hanging out. You know, wearing blonde wigs. You know, what's wrong with edifying your people, telling them not to do those things? You know, I'll tell you one thing, you know, you got the other nations of people out here, when they see our people doing this, they look down on us, man. They laugh at us because they know that we're in sin. You know, they look at our women, they wearing tight spandex, you know, the ass all out, you know, nothing covering it. And it's crazy, man. I see it all the time. You know, I go to Walmart, Target, or whatever, and that's all you see our sisters doing. And it's ridiculous, man. But you see the other nations in there, you know, they dress modestly. They got everything covered up. They breasts covered up, you know, they butt covered up. But it's like only our sisters, we're the only ones that want to do that, you know. It's like we got to have those spandex jeans. We got to have those short skirts on. And we just got to, we have to let the world see everything. You know what I'm saying? And it's ridiculous. And it's an abomination in the eyes of the Most High. The Most High wants his woman to be modest, right? But unfortunately, you know, our sisters there, most of them, they're not doing that nowadays, you know. So that's the reason why us brothers and sisters, the ones who really follow the Most High, we make videos like this to edify, right? So it's either, according to the book of Ezekiel, the blood will be off our hands. We got to let you know it. If we see you in sin, we got to let you know these things. You know what I'm saying? We got to let you know, hey, you're going off. You're not supposed to be doing that. In the eyes of the Most High, which is your God, it's an abomination. You know what I'm saying? But hey, if you choose to still do what you do and continue in sin, then the blood is off our hands. And if something happen to you while you in your iniquity, which is sin, sin is the transgression of the law according to the scriptures, then you're going to have to bear your own iniquity, right? So that's the reason why we do what we do. Okay? All right, we're in the book of Ezekiel chapter 28, and I'm going to start at verse 4. Okay? And it reads, with thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. Right? Verse 5. By the great wisdom and by the traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thine riches. Okay? So that's what we're doing. We're storing. This is like I was saying, Salakia, in the book of Matthew. Those are the riches that you want to store up. You want to store up your riches in heaven. As the scriptures say, where the thief don't steal, and the moth don't eat. And it don't rusteth. So those are the eternal riches that we're striving for, that we're supposed to strive for of the people, right? I'm gonna go down to verse 9. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am God? But thou shalt be a man and no God in the land of him that slayeth thee. Right? So the Most High is letting you know that his people is in captivity. And you're not gonna tell the people who have us in captivity that we're God. Even though we're our gods according to the book of John. That's what Yahushua called us. He said, "Ye are gods." But if you're in sin and you're getting judged for that sin, if you're breaking the laws of the land, you can't tell a person who's persecuting you that you're God. you know, they're gonna look at you like you're crazy and throw your ass in jail. Or do whatever they have to do, or what they're assigned to do to you, right? But thou shalt be a man and no God, right? So even though Yahushua called us gods in the book of John, right now in captivity, we're no gods. We're not living like gods. Look at our people. Just look around, man. Our people was at the bottom of the totem pole, so to speak. Totem pole, Salakia. Our people's all in the ghettos. The projects. You know what I'm saying? Most of us are unemployed. We can't even provide for ourselves, let alone our families. You know what I'm saying? The oppressors, they give the women the jobs. And then when they give the women the jobs, they look down on you because you can't even provide anymore. Right? I mean, that's the oppressor turning everything upside down. As it says in the book of Isaiah. The Most High, he says, surely your turning of things upside down should be esteemed as potter's clay. Right? So that's the oppressors turning everything upside down in the ways that's, contradictionary to the Most High. You're not supposed to have the women over the man like that. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, women shouldn't work. I mean, if a woman want to get out there and work and make her own money, it's all good. It helps the family. But you're not supposed to suppress the man and give the woman the work. I mean, that's just wrong. That's wicked as hell, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's explaining in verse 9 here. Will thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, right? That persecutes you every day. All you got to do is turn on the news. I mean, you'll see who's getting persecuted day and night, I am God, right? But thou shalt be a man, a regular man, right? Just like everyone else. Not like how you used to be when you had your glory when you was in your homeland, right? Thou shalt be a man and no God in the hand of him that slayeth thee, right? Thou shalt die the deaths of the uncircumcised by the hand of strangers, right? Who's the strangers? Those are the ones that's not the Israelites, man. Those are the other nations, and the uncircumcised are the ones that don't have the law of the Most High. According to the book of Psalm, the Most High, he gave his laws and his statutes and judgments to the children of Israel only, right? So the ones who haven't received that law is the uncircumcised, which is the other nations. Or you can say Gentiles too. The actual Gentiles, not the Gentile minded. Let me make that discernment there. Okay. Thou shalt die the deaths. Salaki, thou shalt die the deaths of the uncircumcised by the hand of the strangers, for I have spoken it, saith Lord God, Yahweh, our power. Right? So, once again, right there, that's the Most High is letting you know. I'm the one that did this to you. You don't want to obey my laws, statutes, and commandments, then I'm going to send you to a place where you're going to have to obey their laws. You don't want to obey my laws, so now you're going to have to obey their laws of the land. And if you don't, they're going to persecute you. So the Most High is perfectly clear here, man. He's letting you know what's going on. Right? I'm going to go to the book of 2 Corinthians. The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 6. Yeah, so, if our people, if they truly want to understand this Bible and the judgments of the Most High and the keeping of his laws and commandments, we really have to get into these Bibles ourselves. We can't go off what we hear, or word of mouth or what we've been taught all our lives. You really have to get into these scriptures, man. You know, that's the only way you're going to learn. And then you got to pray to the Most High that he gives you the spirit of understanding and discernment, of what's true and what's false. Because you're going to go through it. Once you learn this Bible the way it's supposed to be learned, the Most High is going to start revealing things to you, through the Spirit. And he's going to give you the spirit of discernment and truth. And then when you look around, you're just going to see nothing but sin that's going on, and he's going to give you the spirit to rebuke these things and speak out on these things. That's the reason why I'm doing this right now. You know, not only me, but, a lot of other brothers and sisters out there. You got plenty of camps out there that's spreading this truth. I ain't going to name no names, but hey, all you got to do is go on YouTube and you can see it. There's thousands, hundreds of camps out there doing their thing, So it's like, you don't even only have to listen to my videos. You can go in and listen to their videos too. You know, and yeah, this truth is for everyone. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, hey, if you accept it and your spirit bears witness with it, then you're of the Most High. But if not, then I mean, you're going to be considered a Gentile-minded Israelite, so to speak, right? All right, so we're in the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 6, and I'm going to start at verse 14. Okay? And it reads, Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. Right? So that's Paul letting you know. If you're a keeper of the Most High's laws and commandments, you're really not supposed to be around people that don't keep the commandments. You know what I'm saying? According to the scripture, it says, roughly paraphrasing, you know, bad company corrupt good manners, right? So if you hanging around someone that's not keeping the laws and commandments, then you're going to be enticed to sin, which is the transgression of God's laws. So that means they're going to entice you to eat that pork chop sandwich, that BLT, that defiled bread. You might have some. You might have some ice cream or whatever. You think that it's just ice cream, just milk and cream and sugar, but there's pork ingredients in that, man. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to be enticed to sin. You're going to be enticed to defile the Shabbat, you know, to work on a Shabbat or speak of money, in which you're not supposed to according to the scriptures, right? So that's why it says here with Paul, he says, "Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness?" Right? So the righteous is the ones that keeps the Most High's laws and commandments. The unrighteous just, they cast the laws behind them. You know what I mean? Or it could be of the other nations that never was given the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. Right? But in this sense, what Paul's speaking about, he's speaking about the Israelites that's unrighteous, the ones who you see that say, "Oh, we're under grace and we can do whatever we want." That's what you call the unrighteous. Okay, it's not just being a bad person or having foul language or vulgar mouth or whatever. It's unrighteous is what it is. It's not following the Most High's laws, statutes, commandments. Right? It's not, if I curse this person out, I'm an unrighteous person. No, that's not what that's about. That's not what that's explaining, right? And what communion have light with darkness, right? So if you're of the Most High, you are children of light. You know what I'm saying? You're children that follows Hamashiach. Hamashiach is the light according to the book of Genesis. Chapter 1, verse 2. Right? So he's the true light of the world. The light are these laws and commandments of the Most High. Right? And darkness would be, once again, your people that's walking around saying that the laws are done away with. They're following other gods. They're into whoredom. They're worshiping Allah, Buddha, you know, Saint Mary, aka Santa Maria, in Catholicism, the three kings, Kemet, Hotep, 5%er. I mean, you name it, man. The Moors, and the Moors just mean black. That's all that means. And they was really the Israelites. So if you want to call yourself a Moor, you might as well just get down with the program and just say, "Hey, I'm an Israelite," because Moor just means black. So that just goes to show how in the dark our people are, man. It's crazy. Verse 15, and what concord have Christ with Belial, right? That's Satan. So it says right here, Christ is the light. Satan is the god of this world, in which put people in darkness. What fellowship Christ have with Satan? You know what I mean? I don't even have to explain that to you. I mean, even a regular religious Christian can basically tell you the difference between that, right? Or what part have he that believeth in an infidel? Verse 16. And what agreement have the temple of Yahweh with idols? Right? What's your idols? Allah, Buddha. You have the big rock over there in Mecca. That the Muslims, they circle around and kiss and bow down to. You know, you have your Trinity doctrine. That's your idols. You know what I'm saying? Sweet baby, blonde hair, blue eyed Jesus. Mohammed of Islam. Those are your idols, man. And you can't be scared to speak on this stuff too, man, because this is all the whoredom that our people was in, and they entice people to follow these other gods with them, in which lead us to sin and err, and it disconnect us from our God, which is the Most High, the one true God, right? So you can't be scared to speak on these things, man. These are all of the false idol gods our people is worshiping. Kemet, Amun Ra, Nimrod. Celebrating the December the 25th, Tammuz, the birth of Tammuz, right? So those are the idol gods, man. And what agreement have the temple of Yahweh with idols? For ye are the temple of the living God, right? So our God, which is the one true God, he's the one true living God. All of these idols, they can't breathe, they can't speak, they can't hear, they can't think, they can't save you in the day of your calamity. So how is that a God to you, right? As Yahweh have said, I will dwell within them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people, right? So if you're following the Most High's laws and commandments, he's going to be with you. He's going to walk with you. He's going to, He's going to send his angels to minister unto you, to always keep you in righteousness, keep you on that straight and narrow path in which we all should be on, right? And he's going to call you his people. As it says here, as Yahweh have said, I will dwell in them, which means he's going to put his spirit in you, his comforter, the Holy Spirit, right? And walk in them. That means he's always going to be with you wherever you go. If you're remaining true to the Most High and you're striving to keep these commandments, he's going to be with you. He's going to walk with you wherever you go. And I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Right? So by him letting you know that you're going to be his people, he's going to protect you. He's going to save you from all of the calamities of the world. The pestilence that's going around. You know what I mean? Just like in the book of Psalm, it says, there's going to be a few hundred that fall beside you on your left and your right, but you're not going to be touched. Roughly paraphrasing, right? So that's the Most High walking with you, as it says here in verse 16. And walk with them, and I will be their God. So he's going to protect you from all of these calamities that's going on, all of the afflictions, the trials and tribulations of this world. Right? Verse 17. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate. Right? In other words, be holy. Holy means separate, to be set apart. Right? Saith Yahweh, and touch not the unclean thing. Right? All right, so what is the unclean thing? We just went over that a few times. That's your dietary law. That's your abominable so-called foods. Your swine, your shellfish, your unclean fowls of the air. And I will receive you. Right? So that's a clear cut to a lot of religious folks that believe that we can eat whatever we want to eat. The Most High right here says, saith the Lord Yahweh, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. Right? So he's letting you know he's going to receive you onto himself as a child of the Most High if you keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, right? So you can't be out here talking about, hey, I'm gonna eat this pork or this fried scampi or calamari salad, salakia, but you're still a child of God. You're still a true believer and worshiper of the Most High and a follower of Hamashiach while you're eating that pork chop sandwich or that calamari salad. That's an oxymoron. That it's impossible. You can't be a true follower of Hamashiach and a worshiper of the Most High, and you're not even taking heed to these laws, statutes, and commandments, let alone the dietary law, right? So he's letting you know here, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you, right? Verse 18, and will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughter, saith the Lord Yahweh Almighty. Right? Well, this is written in small letters, so they say if it's in capital letters, it's the Most High. If it's in small letters, it's Hamashiach, right? So that's Hamashiach there. Or you can take it as the Most High because it says here, and will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters. Okay? So that's the Most High speaking there. Just to make that clear, give you that discernment there. Okay? All right, so I'm going to go to chapter 11, and I'm going to start at verse 2. All right, and it reads, For I am jealous over you with godly jealousy, right? For I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Hamashiach, which is the world calls Christ, right? So how is Paul trying to make us a chaste virgin? He's enticing us to keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High so we can have our sins blotted out, right? So that's how he's trying to present us as a chance version to Yahushai when he returns. Okay? Verse 3. But I fear lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, so your minds shall be corrupted from the simplicity that is of Christ, Hamashiach. Right? So that's what the world is doing. The sinners of the world, you can say they're like the serpent, and they're enticing us just like how the serpent did Eve in the book of Genesis to sin by telling us, this new wine, just as in the book of Salakia, the book of Hosea, that's the new wine that's being dealt to our people now, and which is, we're under grace. We can live however we want, or we can eat however we want. You know, that's how the serpent beguiles you, and he takes your mind off following the Most High and of Hamashiach, which is the simplicity of keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, right? So that's what Paul is explaining there. Verse 4. For if he that cometh preacheth another, which here it says Jesus, you know, in the ancient Hebrew Paleo tongue, it's Yahushai, Hamashiach, which means the Messiah, right? Whom we have not preached, or if ye receive another spirit, which ye have not received, or another gospel, which ye have not accepted, ye might as well bear with him, right? So Paul is letting you know, if you're receiving another gospel, which is the laws are done away with, and another spirit, which is the spirit of going around telling people that the Most High's laws are done away with. You can live however you want because you're under grace. That's another spirit. And then another gospel, that's the gospel there. You're going around enticing people to sin. See, our people don't know what sin is. Sin is the transgression of the Most High's laws. So if you're going around preaching another gospel in which entices people to go off of the Most High's laws and commandments, that's sin, right? So that's the other gospel, which ye have not accepted, ye might as well bear with them. So you're gonna bear the calamities of all of those people that's going around giving that new gospel and that new wine to people, enticing them to sin. Mainly the Most High's chosen people, right? So you're not supposed to be doing that. You're supposed to spread the truth of this gospel here. I'm gonna go to the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3, and I'm gonna give you like probably like two more verses after this. Okay, I'm gonna try not to make this too long. Who knows? I might come out with a part 3, right? But this Bible is infinite. I mean, there are scriptures all over this Bible that speak of keeping the dietary law. So, it's like you can't make just one, two, three parts to it. It's like a forever going thing here, man. These scriptures are infinite. But I might make a part 3. But I'm pretty sure with all of these scriptures that I'm bringing out now, you can pretty much get the picture, right? All right, 1 Corinthians chapter 3. And I'm going to start at verse 16. And it reads, Know ye not that ye are the temple of God Yahweh, and that the Spirit of Yahweh God dwelleth in you? Right? So, we're the true temples. That's what Paul is letting us know here. We're the temples of God. It's not like a building that you've been taught all your life, that's a temple, or a structure that's built with man's hands, that's not a temple. The true temple of the Most High is you, right? And the Spirit of God, Yahweh, your power dwelleth in you. Verse 17, if any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy. For the temple of God is holy, which means separate, Just like I said in my last video, you know, a lot of us, our people, they take that as some fancy, huge word, you know, and, you know, they like to say things like, oh, you think you're holier than thou. You know, well, if you keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, yeah, I am holier than thou, which only means separate, meaning that I'm set apart from you. You know, if you're not following the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments, then that means you're in sin. You know, you're along with the rest of the world. You're with the Gentiles or the uncircumcised, so to speak, right? So how can you call yourself holy and you're doing what you're doing everything what the world do? You know, so you have to make yourself a living sacrifice for the Most High, right? Which means being holy, separate, set apart from the world, right? From the sinners of the world. Okay? I'm going to read it again. If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy, for the temple of God, Yahweh, is holy. Which temple are ye? Salakia, which temple ye are? Right? So that's Paul letting you know that you're the temple of the Most High. You know, not some building that's on your corner. Or if you go to most urban areas, you'll see like 4 or 5 churches on one block. You know, those are not the temples of the Most High. You know, that's where you can go to congregate with the temples of the Most High. But those are not the actual temples, right? Paul is letting you know that you're the temple. Okay? I'm going to go to 1 Timothy chapter 4. Okay? And Salakia, to all of the brothers and sisters out there, you know, if I'm pronouncing any of these words wrong or if I'm saying anything wrong, you know, I mean, hey, I'm up for correction. It's all good. You know, just like I said, I'm freestyling. You know, I didn't make no plan to make this video or whatever and put together some fancy words or speak, you know, eloquently like as I said before. But you know, this is the edification of my people. You know, sometime when you see our people in sin and they do it so proudly, like they're doing something that's of God. I mean, you have to let your people know, right? So, you know, that's the reason why I'm doing this here, right? The book of 1 Timothy, chapter 4. But one thing's for sure, you know, these are not my first videos. You know, I got a couple of videos that's already done, and there's going to be plenty more to come. So, you know, if you subscribe, you know, you follow me on YouTube or whatever, you know, you come check me out. You know, give a like, throw a little comment down there or whatever. Let's build together. Let's network. You know what I'm saying? All right, here we go. The book of 1 Timothy, chapter 4, and I'm going to start at verse 1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. Right? So that's the Spirit. That's the Spirit of truth, right? The Holy Spirit. It speaketh expressly, right? In the latter times, which are now, we're now living in the last days, right? I mean, even your religious Christian can tell you that. Even your Islamic Muslim can tell you that. You know, that we're living in the last days, right? Some shall depart from faith. What is that faith? That's the faith in the one true Yahweh, the one true God, Yahweh and his son Hamashiach Yahushai, right? Giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. What's the doctrines of devils? That's the new wine that's being dealt to our people. You know, once again, telling us that the laws, statutes, and commandments are done away with. You know, we're under grace. Grace is a forever lasting thing. You know, we can do whatever we want. We can eat whatever we want. We can live however we want, you know. So if that's the case, then if the laws, statutes, and commandments are done away with, this as it says in the 10 Commandments, I can steal, right? I can kill. I can covet the next man's wife, right? You know, I can make a graven image and worship another god. Although that's what most of our people is doing anyway. You know, they're worshiping other gods. You know what I'm saying? Allah, Buddha, Kemet. I mean, do I need to go down the list more? you know, yeah, man, that's what our people doing. They all into weird idolization of these false gods, man, thinking that they're going to be protected from them in that time. But they'll see, right? In continuation, in the latter times, some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, right? And the devil, it's not some mythical creature that most of us been taught all our lives. Some red horny guy with two horns and a long tail with a pitchfork down in hell under earth in fire poking the hell out of you. Now that's not the devil, man. If you look up the true definition of devil, it means deceiver, to deceive, to lead you astray from the truth, right? To cloud your judgment with lies, right? That's what devil means. So, anyone can be the devil. If you're teaching a different gospel that's different of the Most High, or you're leading them astray to sin, then you're a devil. You're classified as a devil, right? Verse 2. Speaking lies in hypocrisy, having their conscience sealed within hot iron, right? So a lot of us, our people, we're hypocrites, man. You know, and they truly believe in that. That's what it says right here, having their conscience sealed with a hot iron. That means they truly believe what they believe in. They believe that the laws are done away with. They believe they can eat pork, shrimp, lobster, crab, ostrich eggs, roast duck. You know what I'm saying? The people down here, squirrels, bear meat, alligator meat. Just like I said in my last video, in Walmart, they had alligator meat up there, man. Like, how in the hell can you have alligator meat up there for sale in a Walmart? Like, wow, like, come on, All of this, this like it says in verse 2, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience sealed with a hot iron. That means you can't change their mind. They stubborn on it. I mean, you know how it is when you burn something with a hot iron, like say if you iron your shirt or your pants or whatever, and it's a light colored shirt or pants, and you keep that iron on there a long time, it's gonna burn. And when you lift that iron up, that stain is there. You can wash it, you can do whatever you want, you can bleach it. That stain is not going nowhere, right? That's the reason why Paul used that this explanation here. Having their conscience sealed with a hot iron. That means it's there. It's not moving. It's stubborn, right? Verse 3, forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain from meats, which God hath created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth, right? So the meat, that can be taken as a lot of things. It can be taken as the Most High's truth according to the Scripture. You know, the meats that some people may not understand at first, but when the Most High give that increase, when you start to study the Scriptures, and the more heavier matters that's inside of the law, statutes, and commandments, that could be explained as the meats too, right? Or you can actually speak literal. That can be actual meats that's of the earth that we're supposed to eat. The clean meats, the chicken, the cow, the beef, and other meats out there that's clean. The fish, the salmon. You have your whitings, your sardines. You know, just to name a few. You know what I'm saying? So that could be taken literal or hypothetically speaking. Slakia, right? Which God have created to be received with thanksgiving. So all of these clean meats, or you could say the doctrine of the Most High, it's been created for us to be received with thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? So, you don't have to necessarily say, oh, I'm going to be a vegan and stop eating meats. If you want to take this in a literal sense, you know, the meats was created for us to be received with thanksgiving. And no, that don't mean Thanksgiving Day. All right? Let me make that discernment there. That doesn't mean Thanksgiving Day. It means Thanksgiving as in giving thanks and praise to the Most High. Right? That doesn't mean November the 25th. Okay? Of them which believe and know the truth. Right? Verse 4, for every creature of God is good, and nothing to be refused, if it be received with thanksgiving, right? So this is where our people go wrong at. You know, now when the Most High says this, that every creature is to be received with thanksgiving, that means everything that the Most High created on this earth is to be given him praise for. You have to be thankful for everything that the Most High created, right? Because everything that the Most High created on this earth have a purpose, right? Just like your pig. The pig have a purpose, right? It's not that, see, when the Most High says that it's abomination on him to eat it, it's just for us to eat it in his eyes is an abomination. But he didn't say that he hates the pig. The Most High loves the pig. He created the pig. And to be honest, if you really want to study about pigs, pigs are really not nasty animals. It's the way that certain people raise pigs to make others think that they're nasty. But pigs are really not nasty animals. They don't like to sleep in their own slop and all of that stuff, their own waste. They really don't like to do that. If you do your research on pigs, you will see that, right? So when it says here that every animal or creature is to be received with thanksgiving, that's what that means. The Most High created it. We supposed to be thankful that he created it because everything have a purpose in this world. The pigs are to clean up the waste, just as the shellfish in the water. You have your shell, your lobster, your crab, your shrimp. Those are the bottom feeders of the sea. Your catfish. Those things are to be received with thanksgiving, as in giving thanks and praise to the Most High that he created them, right? All right? Not to be, oh, okay, well, I got this big Sunday ham in front of me for Super Bowl Sunday. Got it glazed with honey, and I got the pineapples all over it. Oh, we're going to give thanks to God for eating this ham. No, that's that's not what that means, all right? That's why people go wrong at. That's the reason why all of us out here eating ham sandwiches. Probably still eating it today. You're going to have your leftovers, you know what I'm saying? So, you got some of our people, they probably made that ham sandwich for lunch today, right? All right, verse 5. For it is sanctified by the word of Yahweh and prayer, right? So that's meaning that everything that's created in this world, it's sanctified, it's sanctioned off. Everything is not the same. Everything that the Most High created have a specific purpose, right? That's what that means. Okay. It doesn't mean, oh, okay, I'm gonna eat this calamari salad and this catfish sandwich and this BLT, and all I gotta do is give thanks to the Most High, and He's gonna bless it, and everything's gonna be all well. Now that's not what that means. All right. Okay. All right. I'm gonna give you one more, and I'm gonna end it. All right. I'm gonna go to the book of St. John. Salakia. This phone wanna act up on me now. The book of St. John. St. John, chapter 21. Okay. And I'm gonna start at verse 15. All right. And it reads, so when they had dined, that means, they sat down to eat dinner, Yahushai, in which the world calls Jesus Christ, saith to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these? He saith unto him, yea, Lord, Yahushai, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, feed my lambs, right? Who are those lambs? That's the children of the Most High. That's the children of Israel. According to the scriptures, we're deemed as sheep. You know, so that's what Yahushai is telling to Peter. He's asking Peter, "Do you love me?" Right? Just like most Christians say, they say they love Christ, right? So Yahushai is telling Peter, he's asking him, you know, "Lovest thou me more than these?" He saith unto him, "Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee." Then Yahushua said unto Peter, "Feed my lambs." Verse 16. He saith unto him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my sheep. Right? So that's Yahweh Shai saying to him again, Feed my sheep. His sheep are his followers, his one true followers, and the true worshipers of the Most High, and the keepers of the laws and commandments of the Most High, his Father, which is in heaven, right? The one true God of Israel. Just want to make that clear, right? Verse 17. He saith unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved. That means, he looked at Yahweh like, hey, what's going on? This is the third time you asking me this, right? Grieved because he said unto him the third time, lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, Christ, Yahweh right? Thou knowest all things, right? He's saying, hey, you know all things, right? I mean, you're the son of the Most High Yahweh, right? He's being sarcastic. Thou knowest that I love thee. And Yahweh said unto him, Feed my sheep. Right? Verse 18. Verily, verily, I say unto thee, when thou wast young, thou girdest thyself. That means, you readied yourself. You got ready, right? You got up, you got dressed, If you wanted to do a little morning workout or whatever, you did that. You did your little 20, 30 push-ups or whatever, right? And walkest whither thou wouldest, Salakia. But when thou shalt be old, thou shalt stretch forth thy hands, and another shall gird thee, and carry thee whither thou wouldest not. Right? So that's Yahweh letting you know, in your younger years, you have all the energy in the world. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you wanted to go somewhere, you got up and went. You had the energy to do it. You didn't think twice about it. You just went. And he's letting you know when you get old, you're not going to be able to do that stuff. You're going to have other people taking care of you. If you have kids, they're going to be the ones taking care of you. They're going to be the ones girding you up, getting you dressed, putting your clothes on, right? Because you're going to be too old to do it, too feeble. Your bones may be too weak, your muscles may be too sore, right? You may not be healthy enough to do that, you know. So he's letting you know, in your younger years, you should feed the sheep. If you know the truth of these scriptures, and you call yourself a true worshiper of the Most High and a follower of His Son Hamashiach, feed the sheep. Just like Yahweh Shai told Peter here. He told him 3 times. If you love me, feed my sheep. Right? So if you know this truth, you can't sit back on it. You can't just sit back and say, oh, I'm in the truth and I'm going to keep the laws, but you see everybody around you sinning and you're not doing no rebuking or no reproving and edifying. That's actually hateful in the Most High's eyes too, because He actually chose you out of the bunch to spread His word and His truth, right? Even if it is the dietary law. And sometimes, yeah, you may get a little kickback, some people, they might get a little upset with you, but hey, the Most High says, blessed art thou that's persecuted by the sinners, right? Roughly paraphrasing. So if you're going to get that kickback from the sinners, then you're blessed. You're not supposed to back down or be scared or whatever or shut up. You're supposed to come more when they're trying to come back at you for rebuking them for being in sin, right? So that's what the Most High, that's what He wants us to do. That's what He commands us to do. He commands us to keep His laws and commandments while we're here. They're not done away with, right? Including the dietary law. If people was keeping His law, just like I said earlier in the video, we wouldn't be dealing with this coronavirus for eating bats and rats and slack I'm about to curse, but yeah, so, if we know this truth, just like Yahweh Shai told Peter, we got to feed His sheep. We see our people in sin, especially the Most High's children, the children of Israel that's scattered abroad. We got to rebuke the hell out of them, man, and let them know, hey, put that pork chop sandwich down. If not, then you're going to get judged by the Most High. Later on in your life, you're going to have high blood pressure. You might have a stroke. You're going to have high cholesterol. You know, and you know the doctors, they already say that you can't cure bad cholesterol. Once you have it, you have it. You know, there's nothing you can do about it, right? Even though I think otherwise, but you know that's what they say, right? So, you know, if you see your people in sin, even if you on social media, you know, you see somebody post something up there that's abominable that they're about to eat, throw a little comment down there. You know, you got the scriptures on this video here. Let them know, yo, this is an abomination to eat. You're not supposed to eat that, right? So I'm just doing my work as a humble servant. That's all, and I'm taking the blood away from my hands, just as Ezekiel says, right? Okay, so I'm gonna end it here. Hopefully that this video was edifying. I might make a part 3. You never know. This, like I said, these scriptures, you know, they're infinite. You know what I mean? So there's plenty of more scriptures, you know, that I got written down in my book that I usually write my scriptures down in. So, but you know, for now, this is part 2 to the video. You know, the keeping of the Most High's dietary law, and hopefully that it was enjoying, edifying, and you know, hey, you know, give a thumbs up, like it, comment. You know, if you want to network a little bit, share some scripture, we can do that. All right. It's Brother Yashar, Seed Souls of Israel, Milk Givers of Israel, and I'm out. Shalom.